Welcome to Between Sets, a place for real conversation about sustainable fitness, healthy habits, and everything else in between. I'm Coach Sierra, and today I just wanted to take the time to introduce myself, welcome everybody to this page. This is a brand new series that I'm getting started, and it's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Health and fitness and active lifestyle has really taken over my life, my career, everything that I do for the last 10 years now. And my hopes and my dreams and my goal with this series is to really educate everybody, and mostly geared toward women's fitness, but really open to anybody who, is looking for information and tips from not just somebody who's been doing it for a long time, but proud to say that I am an expert in what I do and a professional in the field, and I'm very hands-on. Now, I don't have my PhD or anything like that, but that's one of the things that I like about my job as a fitness coach is it's very certification based. I'm a very high level certified coach. So again, my goal with this series is just to really lay out the foundation of things that helped me translate this not into just who I am and what I do, but have really made it a sustainable lifestyle. Like I said, for 10 plus years now, actually going on 13 years, which is crazy to think about. So again, welcome. My name is Coach Sierra, and I'm just going to dive into a little bit about myself, a little bit about me. I grew up playing sports, grew up, an active lifestyle. Back then we also didn't have all the technology and everything that young kids have today. So different topic for a different time. But yeah, I was always involved in sports. I played competitive soccer, was my main sport, for a very long time. And, even then, we grew up playing basketball, volleyball, like family games of softball and kickball and, things of that sort, surfing in the ocean and scuba diving and, hiking, all that good stuff, mountain biking and briones, right? The list can go on. So I've definitely always had a motivation toward being active in sports. But my fitness journey with weightlifting and training really started when I was about 15 years old. And admittedly, it was because of a guy who I was dating at the time. And I'll never forget, I went to 24-Hour Fitness, and you fill out your membership contract, and I was only 15, so I remember I had to go home and have my dad sign it and bring it back, and it was this 24-hour express up the street from where we used to live in Pleasant Hill. And anyway, so that's when I started lifting weights, and that's when I really got introduced to workouts and how to work out and splitting your sessions and all that good stuff. I do consider myself lucky because I was working out with people who were already doing it. And so I got to learn very quickly, but it's something that I was drawn to from the beginning. Being an athlete, I like that push. I like having goals. I think my personality as well, and especially being 15, right? Any 15-year-old girl can tell you that stuff's hard. It's hard, growing up for anybody is hard, but just for my ladies out there, it's rough being a teenager and you have all of these feelings and emotions and all of this drama, and everything seems so end of the world, and everything is so important, and your self-image, and you're just coming into the world really, and just starting to figure out who you are. You're no longer a young girl, but you're making that transition into adolescence and teenage years, and there's a lot that comes with that. So having the gym and having weights was essential for me for honestly a healthy outlet, and just the way that I felt after a workout. I tend to be a deep thinker, and there's a lot that goes on there sometimes. That's what I'll say. Here comes the dog. And come here, babe. And so anyway, so having a healthy outlet was really important to me. And honestly, like, I don't even want to know where things would be if I didn't have that. So I just never looked back from there. Like any other person, you have your ups and your downs, your in and your outs. But even if I wasn't lifting weights, I would always want to be like going on a run, or, like I said, we did mountain biking in Briones a lot, stuff like that. So after high school, I ended up applying for a job at a gym, honestly, just to have a free membership. I wasn't really thinking like, oh, this is what my career was going to be. I actually wanted to be an attorney at the time. And so I got a free membership with this job, and it changed my life. I was there, I left, I went back, and when I got back, it was kind of game over from there. Every year I was getting promoted up the line into assistant front desk manager, and then a group fitness instructor, and then manager of personal training. I wasn't a personal trainer then. Management of personal training. That's when I got into indoor cycling, and that started taking off. For anybody who knows my signature indoor cycling, that's where it started. And indoor cycling. And then it was when I got promoted to sales for the company, where I had to make the decision, because I was still going to school, but it was time to make a commitment either way, right? What am I going to do with this? Do I keep pursuing, political science and going for law and, trying to go where I was trying to go at the time? Or do I dedicate myself to fitness, and do I do this full time? And I really had to think about it. But for me, I just realized what fitness had done for my life at that time, and anything that it was doing for me when I was 15, it was doing for me tenfold in my early 20s, right? Especially where I was and things that were going on, just back to that healthy outlet. And, it just kind of came to me, and my clients have definitely heard me say this more than once, but I'm not selling you a universal TV remote, right? I'm selling you fitness. I'm selling you health. I'm selling you the power of positivity, right? Being in a place where every person who walks through those doors, they're here to better themselves, and understanding how that had changed me for the better so much became my purpose. And the only thing that I really wanted to do is share that with as many people as possible. So I made the decision to pursue my fitness career full time. And that was, like 2016, maybe 2016, 2017, something like that. And here we are, 2026 just turned the corner. So, there's a lot that happened between taking that promotion and making that decision, and now. And it's something that I've stuck with. I did take a little break after COVID naturally, for a while, but I've been back into it. And now I have, a very full and lovely client list that I work with in person, and just launched the Sierra Fit training app in the App Store this year, really at the end of last year, but really this year was the launch, and just focused on building, community, and really, again, just sharing all of this, not just my experience, but information with anybody who needs that. If one person gets even one little bit of information or inspiration that's going to help you or somebody make a difference, then I feel like I serve my purpose, and I have. So again, thank you so much for being here, and welcome. Like I said, this is for everybody. I have so many topics that I'm so excited to dive into. And I wanted to structure this in a way that I think would be a really great building into, the start of the year, kind of where do we get started? How do we get started on all of these things? I'm going to share with you as many tips and tricks that I have. And please comment, share, let me know if you have questions. I'll comment back to you. You can follow me on a lot of my other platforms. So Instagram is definitely a big one where you get a lot of more frequent information. So I'll leave all that information here with you guys as well. And let's get a little bit deeper. So it's March, right? The year just started. Happy 2026, fam. How are we doing? Right? It's March. Let's do a little check-in. So I'm going to try to pace myself here with everything because then there's just a lot, right? So it's March. How we doing? What were some of the goals, some of your resolutions that maybe we set in January, and where are we? Let's do a little check-in. We're into month 3, and I keep having a big grin on my face because it's just a really good time to launch this information right now. Because ultimately, and I'm going to give you guys some tough love here. The point of me filming this in a real setting and doing all of this is let's get real. Let's get real. So when it comes to fitness, right? That's what we're here to talk about. Again, mostly women's fitness. I'm a woman. I relate to women's fitness as I'm, going into later years, the latest that I am so far. Okay. I know being in my early 30s is still very young. Thank you. I know. But with that is, my own struggles of hormonal changes and balances and, not a spring chicken anymore. Right. So anyway, I just say that because I know people are going to be like, you're just 30. I know. I'm actually 31. But anyway, so fitness, health, healthy habits, healthy lifestyle, right? That's what we are here to talk about. So let's start from 0. And the first thing that I want to do to kick off this series in today's session is to help anybody or give some structure on what should some of our goals be. Let's talk about what are good goals to have in the beginning of the year to help you get on track. Yes, but it's mostly about laying out your track right now, right? And I want us to keep in mind that anytime we talk about fitness and health and all that, what do we always say? It's a fitness journey. Right? It's a fitness journey. So be patient with yourself and understand that the lifestyle that I have and everything that I have, again, I've been doing this for over 10 years. This has been a priority in my life. So even my clients who have been with me for a couple of years, things are happening that wasn't happening then. It's not because there hasn't been quality training, right? Consistency is definitely a factor. Well, not say that. I love you guys, but that's real. But this stuff takes time. It's a fitness journey. So be patient with yourself, be gentle with yourself. Also, the last thing you want to do is shoot up the cortisol level, right? And now you're just fighting against yourself, and that's not productive. So what are the goals that we should be setting to get the year started? That's a great question. Let's start with frequency. Let's start with building your path. Let's start with what does this road look like for you? And mind you, this road is going to change. And in fact, your road should change. right? Because if your road never changes, most likely you're going to get to a certain point, you're going to plateau, and then your body never changes, right? Something that I'm really going to drive home with everybody this year is if you have not hit a goal or your body does not feel or look different, if you're going for a weight loss goal or building muscle, some kind of composition or looks goal, which is a great goal to have, by the way, like you're going to get healthy in the process, right? Most of our goal is not to just like get healthy because we have maybe some kind of, internal disease or, something that we're working with. Like being healthy, that's going to come, right? We know that's going to come. That's like my favorite part of all of this is I get to challenge my mind and my body in a way that's so rewarding for me, like chemically in my brain. And then it also makes me super healthy and I'm like living longer and, like my output is better because of this. It's like this amazing cycle. Anyway, so it needs to start with what you're doing and how much you're doing it. We need to set a goal of pattern and frequency to build consistency. Okay. So for example, these would be good examples of starting off the year goals. And we're still in the beginning of the year. However, in a few weeks, right, it's like the first quarter of the year is going to be down 25%. 25%. Okay. It ain't going any slower. So a good example of a good goal for the new year is, or just any time of year, but we'll talk about the beginning because that's where we are, is I am going to fill in the blank. Walk, go to Pilates, take 2 classes, go to the gym, right? Pick something. Walk around the lake. Pick something. I am going to fill in the blank. That's the activity that you're going to do. Commit. Workout. That's a little vague, but you can start with that if you know how to work out. I am going to blank. Next part. Blank amount of times a week. Okay. So example, I am going to go to fitness classes 3 times a week. I am going to take a workout class 3 times a week. Okay. So we can sit here and we can set a plan. We can set goals. We can say, yeah, I'm going to go take a fitness class 3 times a week. Right? But what I also want you to remember in this is be realistic with yourself. If you already work, let's call it 7 to 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 to 3. Yeah. Okay. So if you work 7 to 3, you're not a morning person, blah, 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 this and that. Don't tell yourself, I'm going to start taking the 5:30 in the morning classes. No. You're not going to make it to those classes. Okay. So this is what I loved about going to college is like you have the freedom to pick your classes. And this is what they teach you or what they do if you take a class of learning how to set goals, right? These are things that I've learned also. Don't set yourself up for failure. You have the choice to make this whatever you want to make it. So make it something that you know you're going to do. Even if it's just once a week, you need to be at least adding another walk to that. But okay, so don't be like, oh, I'm going to start waking up at 6 and I'm going to, no, you're probably not. And that's okay. And if you want to make that transition later, go for that. But start with the stuff that you know that you're more likely to do. Okay. So I'm going to take a class 3 times a week. Let's start with that. 3 times a week is a great amount of time to start working out. And we'll talk about your workout days, your hard days and your recovery days, your hard days and your recovery days, because if you're not recovering enough, you're messing up. You're messing up big time. And I'm going to put a pin in that and we'll come back to that one. Okay. So let's just start, right? We're starting from 0. I'm going to do blank amount of times a week. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to write that down. You're going to write that down somewhere you can see it. Okay. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3 calendars in front of me that all have schedules on them, when I'm going to film, when I'm going to do this, when I'm going to do that, topics, all of these things. You have to see it. Okay. Plus, I think it's something like you have a 40% higher chance of reaching your goal just by writing it down. Just by writing it down, because you're already taking some kind of action. And that's really the key in all of this, action, right? So you're going to attend a workout class 3 times a week. Okay, it can be one's of cycling, one's of this, one's of that. Again, do what's realistic for you, but you're going to start going 3 times a week. What we're doing is we're building a pattern and we're building a habit. The whole point of this series is to help you take healthy habits and translate that into a healthy lifestyle. And all of a sudden, it's just this new, beautiful, healthy, holistic lifestyle and person that you now have and that you are because you started to implement these things. Okay. So you're going to start by building a structure. Okay, great. I want to go to a fitness class 3 times a week. So in addition to creating, right, we could sit here and we could set all of these, I'm going to do this X amount of times. I'm going to do this X amount of times. The most important reason, and there's a lot of psychology behind this, okay? So the most important reason that it's also important to make this something that's realistic in your schedule and something that you're actually going to do, you're going to do. You're not now trying to wake up at 5:30 and start this new workout routine. Be gentle to yourself, right? This is a journey. It's going to take time. This has to be what I call your non-negotiable. None of this will work. I can tell you everything that I know. But the beauty about fitness and health is nobody can do it for you. And that's what makes you really strong here as a person, is nobody can do this for you. And that pride and the sense of, I did this for me, and I got up every day. I went to class every day. I tracked my foods for X amount of time. The chemical reward of that in your brain gives you purpose and it gives you discipline. And the number one reason why I do all of this is because that's what I'm after. The psychological benefits of being on a healthy routine and pushing yourself to do things that you don't want to do, breaking through those barriers of, I don't want to do this, but you do. Determination and willpower ultimately turns into self-respect. And when you have self-respect, you demand self-respect naturally, right? Why should other people respect you if you don't respect yourself? So then all of these qualities that you're gaining from forcing yourself to do these classes, these healthy and active habits, these qualities that you're building in your brain and your psychology are going to translate into other parts of your life. And that's my favorite thing about all of this, is now you become confident on the weight floor. You become confident in the office. You become confident at your kid's school, right? It just becomes this person of who you are. I wasn't always the person that I am now. And I tell you guys, this changed my life, implementing these habits, being a person who cares about their health and fitness and pushing myself to do things, right? Like all of these things, it's made me such a solid person that no matter what happens, no matter what comes across my road in life, I'm going to be able to handle it because I know I can do the hard stuff. Why? Come work out with me for a day and find out, right? The things that I'm able to push myself through and the things that I'm able to get myself through, I am because of the way that I live my life through fitness and healthy habits. So you have to set something that is realistic with yourself so you'll do it. And every time you do it, every time you get up, when you didn't want to, or you take your pre-workout because you're tired but you told yourself you have to go to this class, right? Everything that you do, every time you do it, it's going to get a little bit easier, but it takes doing it for it to get easier. Okay. These things just don't happen on their own. So you need to lay out your path. I'm going to this many times a week. Number one. Okay. Number two, make sure that what you're picking for yourself is realistic, and just be realistic with yourself. Number three, it's a non-negotiable. It's something that you have to do. Okay. So let's start there. Let's start with that. That's where I'm going to leave this. I have a lot more topics coming to you guys, and this is going to be a weekly release that I'm really excited about. So again, if you have questions, comments, things you want to talk about, drop it in the comments. I'll post links to my social media so we can all connect. And yeah, welcome to Between Sets. I'm really excited to get this off the ground. My name is Coach Sierra. Stretch, hydrate, feed your body. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.